Unfortunately, this time around, there's not going to be 20 assists coming out from Nismo because he's going to play that Vice. But overall, I'm just ready for this neon on neon action that's going to determine probably the pace and the results of this matchup, because those two players for Rens and Redux have been looking quite good throughout the series. And now with Qbert on the attack side, they have a chance to control things first, but it's just some early presence and control for this A site fight.
Yeah, starting things out pretty standard, but as the screen dissipates, there's far more present for MU than Qbert would have liked to know. Redux, though, has 3 cornered in the box and is going to get 2 of them out the gate. They don't read the last one, but they turn onto it. Redux, absolutely unreal. And the crowd re-cleared away by Qbert the moment that things look testy. Giza now alone as the spike gets tapped with 0 intel. Qbert are still going to play it ultra safe and might actually make the long walk over through CT over to B site.
This rate, though, if they're going to converge back towards this A site, they've given a chance here for Giza to already close that gap. But finally, as it has been planted, now everything goes back to normal. But man, what a showdown when the wall came down. From both sides, it looked like it was going to be Maryville from the get-go until it is the star duelist from Qbert Academy that just lights up the scoreboard, back giving a lead to Qbert Academy in terms of men advantage for this pistol round.
30 seconds
and as
left.
we're running down to fewer seconds until we finally get a plant down, I mean, these guys are just looking to really try to clear out Giza before going for a plant.
Yeah, they do not want him to get away with this. They know what he's capable of. And it's audible from where Giza's at, so he'll meet this, but yeah, it'll go down. And I mean, that's exactly the kind of thing you want to see early on from Qbert fans, for sure. No doubt already visualizing potentially an overdrive execution on the bonus if Redux is able to pierce like that again next round. They'll re-execute on top of their own arc rows, and yeah, Redux will be handed that 4th one as well. And yeah, I mean, again, once that screen goes down, the advantage is obviously MU. It feels like Qbert should know that going into it. But somehow everyone gets cornered into those boxes and Redux can just go headhunting. That's such a crazy recovery in mere seconds.
Especially when the wall comes down and you just mentioned it, the expectation that potentially some players could be there. No utils being thrown in that corner. It was just a game of trades. And they had full advantage for MU because of, you know, the little hills that you have in that corner. You're able to play a little bit more of a high-low. Breaking crosshair, supporting each other. And now a gap for Satellite to exploit with this smoke on mid. But nobody's peeking through. Maryville was just looking for a crunch into middle. Now that haunt confirms actually kind of missed, so it doesn't really confirm in the back of the lines of the Viper orbs or Viper wall. So Qbert could just wall contact into this A site, and for the second time as the wall comes down, curtains down, and Chloric outside of the scene.
The timing on that approach with the screen couldn't have been any thinner. 1 extra second and some legs would have been spotted, and there's a good chance that Chloric's spray with the classic might have actually done some damage, but instead he just backs out to way too big a stack, and Qbert has enough confidence to still stick someone in B main and also have Satellite be waiting in the wings for half a century until this flank from Wildfire comes in. Just great coverage, great respect being shown, but MU will not give the orbs over. They will play for the exits purely. I mean, they see the flowchart. They don't see themselves being able to break through that much space in time.
But the first one peeking out is the one low HP. At least you take him down, and Satellite now at 3 pips going into the ult. Knights once again somehow dying to the radius of the spike. I think that's why he's laughing on the player cam, because he's still laughing at how he's dying to the spike going off. It's okay. He's investing into a Phantom this round. Half shield though, so still a small disadvantage going into the bonus round here for Qbert.
Yeah, it's minor, but yeah, I mean, nothing they can play into. Redux didn't go crazy that round, so he can't get an overdrive. So it'll be a little slow. Still tossing that classic toxic screen up A main, so MU is gonna crunch themselves into the connector. Ren's already getting pressure, tossing his relay bolts out. Is he gonna press on top of this? Redux is pretty isolated. Yeah, Renz gets an easy clear on top of that, and everything except B has been taken care of here. So MU can, once again, kind of slow this down. Toxic screen set up by Giza. That's the one breakaway moment from Cure, but once again, they'll get through. But what more? Spike is not in an optimized position, and in fact, Caillou's going to stick himself to the drone for a moment to make sure that the space is guaranteed before he gets it down.
We're very slow to pop out the Razor Vines here, so Hubert are still able to scatter inside that site, taking forward positions as well.
And once again, just doubling down the moment they get to, and MU has been happy to hand over space for these takes, so it seems like they should be expecting it as well. There's that TP onto his own smoke. Again, something that should be expected for Ange, but what exactly do you do to counteract it when you know there's so much of a push coming through from the link? You just have Nismo hold it all down. And Ange is the only one to get a frag, and he will get only 2, as it appears, to a 1v1 versus Renz as he slides on in. Caillou gets another chance. The slide over from Renz is enough as he wins the foot race and the bonus for Maryville with just one man standing.
Very difficult to get a good angle in a position here to hold the push against a Neon. Great movement coming out from Renz, saving that round out of MU. If not, that would have been, again, another one of those stories where Hubert snowballs early rounds here into the half. Great attempt, great shots too. That was a 3 versus 5, if I'm not mistaken, right? The 2 players died early towards Rooster and towards the front of A-Main simultaneously, as the idea was just to try to sell a fake, keep them at bay so that the numbers could work to the advantage, and it almost did with how they were set up inside that site with the crossfires from Hubert. But now the tides have turned. It's a better buy that you have for Hubert. Judges for 2 players on the side of MU. They just went for a jump spot TP. That spotted the judge from Ange. So I think they want to start forfeiting this a little bit more unless you do want to commit into an early drone.
Instead of forking it, Ange will just rotate back over to mid connector instead. Letting Giza, or excuse me, Cloric take the majority of those reins. Everyone is set up for the elbow exec because of the toxic screen. With that sheer setup. Oh, wow. Redux, nice peek. And again, the timing is just off. You can't play into it. You just have to back out. Now the sheer's been exhausted as well. That was so beautifully timed by Hubert.
That's twice too that Hubert Academy are going for jiggle peeks and catches judge angles and holds here, and they know better not to walk into that from Cloric. So back into a 4-man push into middle.
And Ren's pretty solo line of defense here, but Giza quick to meet it as soon as he gets that first blood in it. Good trade away so far, and it's pretty well read. Again, Hubert pretty telegraphed. Giza almost gets the lineup. That's awkward, but Satellite makes it work. So there's enough coverage just about everywhere. Wildfire still has this Odin, though. So we'll see if he can make a cut. I don't know if he even goes for this with how much distance Hubert can have on it, though.
I mean, even look how Hubert's playing in all 3 of them outside of sight. Hunter's Fury, too.
Where are you?
So now they know at least that Wildfire is somewhat half committed into retaking the B site.
All right, 1 down. Outlaw shot, though, brings them to just 10. So Arc Rosen and Ismo just swinging it.
And 140, excuse me, for that hit. I think it would have been nice for him to carry over that Odin to the next round for Maryville. I mean, look at this buy now. An Odin with an overdrive would have been quite good to use.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a nice little scaling coming out from Hubert Academy. It seems as though that jump peak that we saw earlier on from Knights that spotted the judge from Ange in the beginning at the A main was good enough for Ange to forfeit that line and for Hubert to start walking up.
Yeah, Cloric was already so far back that you can't really, you know, rotate anybody. Yeah, you can't switch anybody out. You just have to give the space away and play into a different, like, plan A instead. Ange really restricted that round, unfortunately, and concentrated. And there's no follow-up on top of the sheer, too. Again, I can't overstate how much of a good job Hubert did at burning that part of the choke on top of their own toxic screen, too. Confidence continuing to play in. And they will burn another sheer. Cloric having no choice but to just play into the bit, and the haunt used to confirm his position now. And they don't care. They really just, I mean, especially against these pistols. They really try to sink their teeth into this half now. Oh, good page out of Hubert's book, though, from Wildfire. Stepping out of the smoke.
Yeah, got one. Which is already good. Just keeping it low, keep the economy low, and Renz could potentially get good value with the Neon position. Remember, the overdrive is still available. He's got relay bolts on top of that. He eats that flash and doesn't want to give his position away yet.
Wow. Barely enough time to pop that for Renz. And Hubert's got to stay static now because they don't have enough intel to kind of peek out for it. Knights has good patrol on the boxes, though, to get Giza with his pants down. And now the overdrive is drained.
There's a rifle at least. So keeping them pinned inside the A site.
Oh, still pinched. Big paranoia as well to condense again. Satellite will be cornered and sprayed. Wow, still lands the outlaw shot on the way down. That makes it easy for Caillou to spray the rest of the pool, and Ange, suddenly left on an island, has to commit to the bit as well. And they will toy with their food a little much, honestly. Caillou just left the rifle, and he will also drop his gun too. Still though, Hubert up 4-1.
Yeah, and that's the main story. 4 rounds, not necessarily in a row, but stringing 2 at a time will still keep the economy good. And even ult, healthy in the ult on that side. And the way that they're just scaling up here against this device util towards the A site. It doesn't matter if you're trying to bring it up towards the staircase where we're currently watching Ange fight for his life here, or he places it towards A main. They're doing such a good job for Hubert Academy to disrespect it. This time they could even disrespect it with the Hunter's Fury to really pressure on that side. You see how the wall's different too. It almost looks like they really want to try to shove rather Ange into the elbow and then leverage that Hunter's Fury to take it down, and there it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what they'll do, just the scoop. And Redux will finalize it, but Chloric has a good pickup on the rest of it. Nightfall contested early. They think the stack is heavier in than it is, and Hubert just sticks around for it.
No charges.
Now you can just slow down and re-hit because this wall's still available for Satellite. You start with the orb. When you contact into the A site, well, I was going to say contact, but you're making yourselves known now. The recon comes out. The read for MU is that the rotate was going to go back towards this B site. And I was going to say, now you contact up rather, and you can just use your ult. Just try to guarantee the plant into the A site.
I can never tell at what point Hubert intentionally give themselves away when they're making a push, because Lord knows that they give themselves away pretty early. Like they're like you can telegraph them pretty quick when they make a push. It's just they're so powerful that it doesn't matter a lot of the time. But it seems like sometimes they're giving themselves away on purpose in order to try to facilitate somebody getting greedy or antsy. Everybody's piled out. Everybody's pile drived as they walk back in. Keys is only good for 1 and has to hold the line against the world. Top of the spike, it's a bit of an awkward crunch, and Giz has popped a couple domes early on. Satellite, thank God he's able to hold it down because no one else could this round. Still 5-1 Hubert.
Despite the team getting power-driven, I thought he was going to survive the 1-2 count, but unfortunately finally gets pinned. Well done here for the side of Hubert Academy to salvage that round, but Giza again, head on a swivel, almost single-handedly won the round for MU. And it almost feels like it was a similar scoreline in that first map here, Tenrik, that Giza got a 3-piece in the back of that C site, and then MU started coming back after a timeout right here. I think the story could repeat itself again.
Yeah,
we're in a
you know where this is going
here. Yep. So take full advantage of that minute timeout here at Hubert Academy. You don't want to let this slip.
Yeah, you got to speak to how much, Maryville's going to be able to get away with when we swap sides. I think that you're going to be gambling a lot less, especially with your ultimates, because right now you kind of have to on the defensive corrode in order to keep, the clearing sequential. Neon has just been so good at being able to speed run a lot of the attacking portions of corrode that you just have to sacrifice a lot of the space. That's kind of the place the meta's at right now, but you're going to be able to do the very same thing with Fade as opposed to Sova. I think Wildfire is going to be a lot more efficient with the dogs and the Nightfalls in particular when it comes to being able to go for executions. Yeah. And Maryville, they've still been playing as confidently as they need to. They can still have that same level of firepower to overwhelm that Hubert has at the moment.
Yeah, it's just right now, though, the story isn't even in terms of the composition of the Fade versus the Sova. It's really, again, just on how much value Redux is getting as a tip of the spear for.
It's true, yeah.
The way that they're hitting the A sites. There's no real splits that we've seen here from Hubert Academy in these successful A site hits, right? And this is the first time we're starting to see it. A little bit of a 1-3-1, trying to push them away. And especially Satellite saw the jump spot here from Wildfire. So now they know, accounting for 2 players over on the A site. And no matter what side they choose, where's the smoke?
That's
smoke's not there, but
yeah. just in time. Thank God Renz didn't get a hit there. And stepping up to the plate yet again early on with this pistol with the help of Chloric to try to contest, and they do. They slam Redux to the ground. Rest of Cubert's got a safe face, and they do. And they know that there's not as heavy of a stack here. Max, it's Renz, and Satellite yet again just heading up the pack. This is the second or third time he's gotten away with a mid-flank watch like that. And he can do it with the Outlaw this time. Rest of
Doesn't miss a
MU,
shot this time.
shreds of it. There is not a real big way to contest this, but with so few members left, you might as well try and cut some of this economy short, as Cubert's still a little lacking in that department. And you know you've already done some damage to Caillou in the meantime. Nice arc rose to reset, though, and that's Wildfire on an island all of a sudden. Renz versus the world can still catch Caillou, but that'll be all they get.
And it's a smart play for Cubert Academy. Very selfless for the side of Redux as well. We just talked about a tip of the spear. It doesn't matter if he doesn't get kills. At least he breaks crossfire placement on even the crossfire setup on that B side hold. Because as he slides out, look at that instant TP right at the top of the shed for Knights. He gets the instant trade. So they're at least there to open up that site, get that plant. And it's almost looking at the post plan very Sentinel-esque, where you're just mentioning somebody watching that flank from the bottom of middle. That's Zelsis that does that usually on the Vice with an operator, with an outlaw, and he's found great value on that first week matchup against G2 in the Americas. Now Cubert are 5 rounds ahead, looking for an all-out hit towards this B site because they have a pit that they can work with. With this wall looking back, this is just a full exec. Playbook strat to overtake B.
Very by the book, very, again, MU is ready for it, and Giza can hold down the crunch on this door. That's the one angle that Cubert chose to fight, and they will lose it until Caillou can shut it down. But the smoke on the connector will actually silence the rest of the contest from MU. They don't want to fight this, and there's going to be enough time to set up the Viper's pit for the post plant. Caillou getting on top of it, and MU just press. They'll make that first fight work and reduce it to a 2v4. Cubert still having to duke it out. Now the C's can get launched in quite early. Relay bolt that Renz tosses into an easy fight onto Satellite, and from there, Nismo has nothing to work with. Well taken by MU that keeps 3 rifles stable and their second round on the board.
Give it up to Giza again, just being able to solo hold areas for the team. You're already giving a huge advantage for Maryville University on the retake. A 5 versus 3 that they started without having to use any util in the first place because Giza just popped 2 players as the rest were rotating. So that means you have a lot more for the retake. The C's was perfect. It got the tether onto Satellite, which allowed their Wildfire to get the C's. Renz to get the relay bolt to confirm that kill towards the end. You're just stunning every single one of these players on that retake. Remember, maybe it wasn't big, flashy, heroic plays from Giza with the Sheriff, but it was still a 2-piece that he got with the Phantom coming out of a timeout for MU.
And that's after they were trying to siphon out that door as well. It's like they'd smoked away everything else, but they were still trying to isolate him for the fight, and they couldn't take him even with the 2. That's such a big amount of work done just by that one play to give MU their leg up back in this game. And they'll play some keep away here against the Hunter's Fury, tossed out by Caillou. Renz on this operator gets away with 1, slides to avoid the counterfire by Knights, and Cubert is stuck up in the armpit of A-Site as MU can kite back to the door and play the long game again. Arc Rose can also get avoided. That's a stiff angle held by Renz. Can't contest it.
They decide better here for Knights and the rest of Cubert Academy. They didn't have that smoke yet to throw it up on the staircase, so they didn't want to cross through and finally throw it just to fake a presence that they're still holding in towards this A site where they could potentially re-hit. Now as he picks up the orb, he has the ult, and they could just ult into the B site for information once they're close enough.
30 seconds left.
Just that one smoke. Look at how MU stays here towards that A site. And Chloric's gonna have his work cut out for him.
Yeah, Knight still has a smoke left in the kit. He's going to be able to, off this 1-2-3 jump on the shear, they can just fully dump on him. They don't. They contact, and Chloric gets them all!
Down, B. 10 seconds left.
Yeah. Satellite, GTFO, buddy. Hold on to that gun.
That's crazy.
That's so crazy.
Everything was looking pretty good until I think they tried to use the recon dart deep into the B site instead of trying to clear close left and right. And I think this is probably the first time that I get into the conversation throughout this initiator showdown of the Sova and the Fade. Usually that Fade, you dog out towards left and right. You could do the close range angle clears. And you see that dart, it goes back to clear the main area of that site, except in that corner where Chloric's at. And he uses it to perfection to mow down 3 players with the Bulldog.
Toxin.
It's happening, Terrick. It's happening.
I mean, yeah, this is the time.
Trying to go for potentially even a flash to try to get Redux in the line. The drone sees 2, though. I don't know if you want to fully commit into this.
Redux gonna run it down with the bolt. They've been stacking on top of it. And it is traded. Oh, Ren stepping in with the op, though. Able to get that first. And now everybody's choked up in the connector. This is so stifled and quickly from MU.
I'm smiling.
That almost feels like a pity round from Hubert.
Yeah.
That felt a little too timid.
But everybody gets there pretty much at Rooster after the drone from Caillou, so that you're just forcing mistakes to happen from MU side, right? So you saw the first pendulum swing all the way out from elbow. There's still support close range on the other side of where that ping is, that triangle, where I think that was Wildfire playing. They had better weapons. You're hoping that the Sheriffs are going to connect and then get value with the Vandal. But unfortunately, it's still fights that came out in favor of MU because of just these nice tucked angles that Wildfire was doing, just playing and dancing around and avoiding all these bullets.
Go, go, go.
And he's gonna give that
Another, yeah, just try intel. Requires the TP away, but Hubert tries to chase it down. And again, you've committed yourself to elbow for an extent, and the screen is way more choked on top of the connector swing instead. So yeah, you gotta bring the stack back over. And again, Maryville read it, but there's way too much firepower. And now the Steel Garden tossed in as well. Very awkward, and Ange isn't able to get out of eye shot, so he'll fall. Now a counter Steel Garden tossed in by MU right into the overdrive, but oh, Nismo on top of that at least. Luckily, Chloric can shut the rest of the early crowd down, and now it's about this 2v2 after all of the rifles are back in these hands, but Elbow's still unchecked. Knights gets the easiest shot of his life, back of the head. Giza can do nothing, and now, arguably, neither can Chloric. His ult spent, same with everything in the kit. Arcro's back in 5, but the lineup is there, and Knights not willing to give it away. It is far impossible to take something like this, and indeed, Hubert will make their way to 7.
And it's just the small things. First off, yes, beautiful shorty kill to instantly cancel the overdrive from Renz. But that 2 versus 2, I just loved. I want to nerd out on how they were playing it so far. Just the way that they're ping-ponging off each other. Knights, the first contact when they're playing that 2 versus 2. As he gets the backstab, then you have Satellite that's going to peek out a little bit more so that he now becomes the contact. And then his teammates being tucked in. So that there's no choice really for that 1 versus 2 on separate occasions from Maryville University to get any real value out of any possibility to clutch. Just the little things here that that I like to see here at high-level Valorant play. Comes down to those mechanics sometimes too, the teamwork as well, and when that synergy flows, you definitely see how confident the rounds continue on for the leading team. Change set up on the defense though here, Tenrick. They put the wall up at the beginning towards middle, and as it gets instantly dropped, you're already weakening the side here of the A site because of this forward push from Ange.
Yeah, once again, so far up.
But you just TP'd that spawn to try to fake it.
Knights just spent that ulti, just to throw MU off a little bit, force a bit of a committal, and they'll get it. 2 stepping up on their own screen to mid, everybody migrating over to A. What a bluff from Hubert. And they'll play into the bit with a smoke up the connector. Redux sacrificing himself to sell. And Hubert have a fully open B site to themselves.
5 players just to take down Redux.
That's crazy.
And because of the TP that you fake it, that it's potentially towards spawn, the call for MU is say, okay, well, if they're going to try to have a late lurk, let's try to fight for it because we have big ults to work with.
Early Nightfall for the potential crunch on mid, but it's Nismo holding in bot against a full lineup, and he can't finalize against one, so it'll be a 3v5 for this retake. Still tough for Qbert for sure. Oh, but a shock dart's going to do a hell of a lot of damage! That's the last of the health pool that Nismo did done! And now it's a 3v3. Qbert have the crunch on the backside, and that's where most of the pool drops. It's got to be all Rens. And he'll get rid of one. A little bit of time left. First tap on the spikes. Knight's giving himself away. Satellite's position no doubt guaranteed as well, but such a tough position to fight from. And so many times that Qbert can just fake themselves away. Knights will sacrifice himself, and so will Satellite, but there is no more time and no more rounds on the defense for Maryville to make up. It's an 8-4 half going into the flip.
So even if Nismo couldn't capitalize on the kill with that late lurk, finally Maryville University understands that bottom hold solo play, but he still does enough damage to allow for him to get 2 assists. Not from flashes this time around, but from body shots against 2 players. And look at those 2 guys falling down from Kayu's shock dart. It's very, very nice towards the end, and it's Qbert Academy with a very strong hold on their attack side of Corrode. Lots of ghosts this round.
Yeah, it's
no
all
real
Maryville.
sheriffs.
Can they do the same thing here?
Leave them no escape.
How much pressure can they put on early here on the B side? Big stack, shears placed, but still pretty spread. Orb's gonna get thrown into the elbow as well. Big split for Maryville to start. Shear already activated as well here by Redux on mid. I think both shears have been traded away. No?
Yeah, we're just trying to maybe spam util in the front of the B side too to break razor vines on the defense. Right now, there's just a lot of prodding from both teams. You're not really giving anything away yet. But you just mentioned the orb lineup. It's now covering the field of view of Nismo. He's forced to fall back in that angle, and that could be something that's going to be annoying to deal with, especially if you try to jump spot in that corner. It allows for you to lurk a little bit better on top of A.
You've got the passive pressure from A because of that orb. You got the passive pressure on B because you've broken the shear. All you have is the bunker setup, but you want to keep that, so you have to go up even further on mid. And so Redux is finally baited into the stack, and there's no trade back. It's a really good slow game played by Maryville, but you do have 30 seconds left. You do also have a 5v3 now, though, as Chloric's Lurk has finally found one and still stuck the other on elbow. Nismo's been stuck here the whole time. But everybody still slowed down. Good snake bite by Satellite. And again, good bunker crunch by the rest of the team to make it slow and difficult, but still overwhelmingly Maryville. They keep 3 standing for the pistol that they'll take.
Nice lurk coming out there from Chloric over towards that A side. So it wasn't even Giza, but he was definitely using a util to allow Chloric to move around. So as you make presence with the rest hitting towards middle and hitting towards B, you're thinking, oh, well, there's probably nothing happening towards the A side. He's just cycling his smokes and his walls. And then Chloric is able to get 2 free kills off players rotated across. But that's an early tell that Qbert Academy will now have to keep in mind when we move forward in these rounds, as they're trying to look for potentially some sort of a fast crunch down towards middle. Omen's already there to set up for a flash. But the Haunt is gonna...
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Cancel out those plans. Let's rebook it for next week.
It's just anytime you're forcing Qbert to play forward, and so many times they do, they're just able to bear hug it so efficiently. And I mean, yeah, Knights has already choked himself up here. He's got to commit. Satellite caught, Knights sold. He'll actually get away with one on the step in. That's bold. Well, Satellite's trying to play right on top of it.
They're actually picking Rooster too, so he might have a good angle, but there should be a dog. There's a dog.
Yeah, it'll cover both sides. Pretty easy from there. Picking a litter with your sight. Coin flip of how active it's gonna be.
There.
You got tails. Maybe you lose one on the way down. Oh no, nice shot by Wildfire out the gate there.
You couldn't get the orb in the end. So Nismo's gonna wrap all the way down towards middle because Ange did drop a weapon down there before. Got thrown out. He looked there was no guns there.
Oh man. Yeah, so he'll just go searching and yeah, MU covering it. A great 1-2 jab to start out MU's attack half. The kind of coverage that we would expect from them coming into this half for sure. And the level of confidence that we hoped that they would keep after having, you know, after taking a big macro beating on their weak half.
Smart move.
This is where it gets important, though. The rifles are now available for the side of Qbert Academy. Setting up once again to maybe try to counter the hot mid take from MU. And it's a dart just to try to look on the other side of the wall if the Neon's rushing up. It's traded out to take control of that side, but this is now MU activating towards B.
And again, the Prowler, a great leader, but can spray their way through and dissipate a lot of that pressure. Knights also making sure Renz doesn't cause a ruckus in mid, so MU are back to the slowdown with these weaker guns. You can maybe find an opening if somebody gets a little scurred. Ange with this outlaw just searching.
Weapon here.
And that's why you buy Phantoms in a double controller setup for both teams. Lots of kills through smokes. Look at where the X's came to. Right on the line of scrimmage where the Viper wall is on the defense. That's max value of the wall set up by Satellite.
Right. It's like a laser gate. No access at all. Hey, you do get away with Knights, though. That's a nice gun to get rid of.
Spike down.
But
That's it. That's all you get rid of.
That'll be all.
You got rid of the spike too. So now Ange is just running down. I mean, he's gonna proc the wall because he was looking for that orb and realizes that it's gone too. So we can't really carry an ult into the next round. And with 15 seconds left, stay back towards that spawn. I mean, they have money.
Yeah, they'll be fine. This is about as normal a beginning to corrode as you can get. Both sides definitely fully set up, fully confident for this last half of regulation in the match. Again, the last half of regulation for one of these teams' Challenger seasons. It ends here regardless of Ascension qualification, which, again, it should be mentioned, Qbert, that doesn't apply. But Maryville playing for their life from here until the bitter end. And it's got to be from 3 rounds down after this bonus is said and done. After it's been clear that there are a lot of very easy doorstops that Qbert's going to be able to jam in their way.
All set.
Yeah, they can't play for Ascension unless there's still another option potentially, but we won't talk about that for now. Let's focus in this round. Push coming out, trying to bait the wall, and Clark was just waiting inside that mini smoke. Early punish onto Redux, which was much needed here for MU to try to get a footing back here on their attack side.
And once again, just fishing for stuff, and MU playing it too safe to let that really do anything. Gonna burn away the drone here. Initiator for Initiator as well, so Wildfire is just gonna say hello right back.
There they are.
Wow. That's another just like uber early Nightfall
And that's
onto
huge.
like, yeah, I mean that sells a stack maybe, but Toxic Orb placed on the timing, so Maryville can't jump up to this immediately. Knights senses that he has a limited window there after it's gonna fade away, so he'll dip out. Maryville slowly making their way up, but that shear is gonna, again, jam the foot in the door, and everyone from Qbert's here now. Arcrow's on one side, push from the Link on the other. Wow. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Nice. That's gorgeous. And that's 10 for Qbert.
You have to underline the importance of Caillou trading utility against that fade. For him to get the recon dart into main, it doesn't get broken when Wildfire pulls out his ult, and the ping only gets Wildfire. So he knows 100% this was a fake on the side of B. They rotated everybody instantly towards that A site. Perfect read. But then when you're actually committed to execute towards that A site, look at how they walk through that smoke. There's no 3, 2, 1 on the call. Renz just walked through, even the barrel of his gun sticking out first and not going for the basic 90-degree outside the smoke or jump out through and try to go for trades. And that just became easy kills for Qbert Academy. there's got to be a sense of frustration there coming out from MCE calling out this timeout. Because even when they fully took control of that front A site and those players fell back from Qbert Academy, I think there was still a good 30 seconds left in the round. It might give a chance for them to rotate back towards middle, or just wait for the next wave of util. Wait for your fate to move forward. That actually did get a seize there in information within the site. But they just weren't really fully in line when it actually came to crossing into the radius of where you could plant the spike in A.
Just a little too stunted. And those tiny mistakes are fish food for Qbert this late into a match as well. The scratch mark starting to show here on Maryville. The economy a little worse for wear, down 4. As they will once again divvy up early on in the round and see if they can field out some early fulcrum pieces of the kits. But the sheer on A is the ever-living linchpin piece of util, so they've got to get rid of that first, and it'll be Ange that takes the fall on that.
Toxin screen down.
I love how maybe if you're a Reddit lieutenant, you were thinking that this was a mouse wheel accident when Nismo was jumping up there while he was spraying, but it was just for him to bait out some players that are close, maybe do some damage, and also jump spot at the same time, so he could get the early information for the team. Because if you're looking at that setup on that A side, there's nothing really able to give that information away outside of the wall that was already procced up.
Nice try.
Another good watch. Another lack of a smoke up top. Oh, thanks, Ange.
There it is.
Yeah. I guess I was wrong. Well, I'll still execute on the B. They have a little bit of time to do this, but Qbert's already starting to approach. 1 for 1 for 1 on the link back, and you're in, but yeah, Heaven's still uncleared, and Caillou's just going crazy, I guess.
Yeah, hard to get into there as soon as the snake bite is still available for Satellite. So he just basically throws it on the ground. You don't want to get vulnerable as you're walking through, because you just become an easy target on this lower buy that you had for MU. This timeout now is important for this one right here for Maryville. And will it come down to keep it simple like they did in the past out of timeouts when they had ults available? Clorg with the Steel Garden leaning towards, it looks like it's going to be a 1-3-1 again.
Yeah, I think this first part, I think splitting it up like this works early on. I think they've baited out a good portion of things. They just haven't egged on an actual member of Qbert. It feels like maybe they're trying to condition that and counter it, but instead they meet the 1, stack it, and win. So, awkward. Yeah, Maryville, I know it's like the only opportunity they have to maybe salvage a pinch. Could start off the attacking smoke. Ange, beautiful portioning to segment that fight, turn it into a 2-piece. And Nismo, not watched though, and he'll get his own 2. Ange now getting 3. 2v2 on the post plan as it goes down. No hyperextension this time. Satellite gonna meet Wildfire here and now. No util in the bank as well.
Wonder if he's gonna ult the site here to give a chance for Satellite to move up, especially when Ange is one-shot. It's a drone instead, okay?
Yeah.
Saw him on the elbow.
Oh, perfect timing for Satellite to dive in. The one piece of distraction that you need. Ange steps ahead of the bite and gets the 1-tap on Satellite. And now Caillou's got to step into this fray and prevent the ace for Ange. He does it with the classic, for crying out loud. And brings Qbert to 6 rounds of match point.
That was such a nice try by Ange, man. He had no HP left, and he went for the hero play. I don't think he had bullets left in the Phantom. He throws that smoke, hides inside of it. But you just saw Caillou jumping in here with the right-click classic. And I agree with you, commend with you how MU just flipped the map back in their favor when they lost Chloric early in the round towards A main. How they sectioned out and micro-scaled up towards this left side of the A site to perfection. But it's somehow just pushing Nismo 1 by 1 again. That was the pain point of the post plant that didn't guarantee the round for MU. Serious
Always
point for
opening.
Qbert.
Okay, that's a good start, for sure. Haven't even baited Redux, and now the Arcros is going to confirm he's here. Now let's sell another stack. force him back. Oh, almost got away with the TP. That's silly. Now Caillou just hitting with his shorty. Easy frag. And now he's got his gun back, so he can go for fight number 2.
No.
Gets it, though he's blinded. That's stupid. That's just dumb. And fate decrees that it should be done here, I suppose. Redux not even finalized. He'll get the re-up, but Chloric can at least finish that off. But Satellite has the spike, and now the pit to elongate the fight against Chloric until Nismo can turn this to a 2v1. And it might be done right here, Vans.
Especially when he meets up with his teammate with a Steel Garden. Right now, the more time is being wasted, the more you're given a chance here for Qbert to just seal the deal.
First turn in, does spot Satellite. Down to the 1v, and Nismo can hold it as soon as he re-extends. A lot of extra room to fly by the time that third map is done, and Maryville will not be able to contend for Ascension any longer. The farm team will keep on farming here in the losers bracket.